Imagine trying to move a city, not a small town, but a place that processes nearly 250,000 people every single day. A place where hundreds of aircraft land and take off around the clock. A place where thousands of employees, millions of bags, and billions of dollars of cargo move through a perfectly timed system that never stops. Now imagine shutting that system down, packing everything up, and restarting it somewhere else in just 72 hours. That's exactly what Dubai is preparing to do. Because sometime in the next decade, the operations of Dubai International Airport, the busiest international airport on Earth, will be relocated to a brand new mega airport in the desert. But this won't be a gradual shift. It can't be. Dubai's entire aviation strategy depends on one thing above everything else: a perfectly synchronized hub. Every day, thousands of passengers fly into Dubai from cities across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas, only to board another flight a few hours later to somewhere completely different. London to Sydney, New York to Bangkok, Johannesburg to Tokyo. Most of those travelers never leave the airport. They simply change planes. This hub model only works because everything is concentrated in one place. The flights arrive together, passengers transfer between gates, and then the next wave of flights departs. If those flights were split between two airports, the entire system would collapse. Passengers would miss connections. Airlines would lose billions. And Dubai's carefully engineered role as the center of global aviation would begin to unravel. So when the time finally comes to move operations to the new Al-Maktoum International Airport, there is only one viable option. Everything must move all at once, which raises a question that sounds almost impossible. How do you relocate the busiest international airport in the world in just 3 days? To understand the scale of this challenge, you first have to understand what actually happens inside Dubai International Airport on a normal day. Because from the outside, an airport looks simple. Planes land, passengers walk through terminals, bags appear on conveyor belts. But behind the scenes, an airport operates more like a giant machine made up of thousands of interconnected systems. At Dubai International Airport, that machine runs 24 hours a day. On a typical day, more than 1,100 flights arrive and depart from its 2 runways. Each aircraft must be guided by air traffic control, directed to a specific gate, unloaded, cleaned, refueled, reloaded, and pushed back for its next flight, often within less than an hour. And all of this happens while hundreds of other aircraft are doing the exact same thing. But the planes themselves are only part of the system. Every one of those flights carries passengers. In total, Dubai International handles over 90 million travelers every year. That's roughly 250,000 people every single day moving through the terminals. Each of those passengers brings luggage, which means the airport's baggage system processes millions of bags every week, routing them through miles of conveyor belts beneath the terminal floors. Then there are the crews, pilots, flight attendants, ground handlers, security officers, immigration staff, maintenance engineers, fuel technicians, catering workers. Altogether, more than 90,000 people work directly inside the airport ecosystem. And that doesn't even include the companies supplying food, fuel, cargo logistics, or aircraft maintenance. All of these systems are synchronized with extraordinary precision. If a single aircraft arrives late, the delay can ripple through dozens of other flights. If a baggage system fails, thousands of passengers are affected. And if the air traffic control network shuts down, the entire airport stops. Which is why moving an airport is one of the most complicated logistical operations imaginable. You aren't just relocating buildings, you are relocating an entire living transportation system. And Dubai's system is even more complicated than most, because the majority of its passengers aren't starting or ending their journey in Dubai. They are connecting. In fact, a huge percentage of travelers at Dubai International spend less than 3 hours inside the airport before boarding their next flight. That means the entire operation runs on tightly coordinated waves of arrivals and departures. Dozens of aircraft land within a short window. Passengers transfer between terminals. Then dozens more aircraft depart. If just one piece of that system moves to another airport while the rest stays behind, the connections disappear. And that's exactly why Dubai cannot operate 2 major airports at the same time. Many cities around the world have multiple airports. London has Heathrow, Gatwick, and Stansted. New York has JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark. But those airports serve mostly local passengers. Dubai is different. Dubai is a transfer hub. The entire system depends on keeping everything in the same place. So instead of slowly shifting flights from one airport to another over several years, Dubai's aviation planners are preparing for something much more dramatic. A single moment when the entire operation moves. Planes, staff, equipment, air traffic systems, everything. To understand how complicated that is, consider just one piece of the airport's infrastructure: aircraft ground equipment. Every plane that lands at Dubai International requires a small army of vehicles to service it. Baggage loaders, fuel trucks, catering trucks, aircraft pushback tractors, passenger stairs, and air conditioning units, maintenance equipment. Thousands of specialized machines are constantly moving around the airport ramps. When the move happens, all of that equipment must also move. But that's only the beginning, because one of the most critical systems inside any airport is something passengers almost never see: the baggage network. Dubai International's baggage system stretches for kilometers beneath the terminals. Automated conveyors scan, sort, and route luggage to the correct aircraft within minutes. It is an engineering marvel designed to handle tens of thousands of bags every hour. The new airport must have an identical system, already tested, already running, and already capable of handling full capacity before the move even begins. Then there's fueling. Every day, millions of liters of jet fuel flow through underground pipelines across the airport to keep aircraft moving. The fuel farms, the storage tanks, the hydrant systems beneath the ramps, all of it must be operational before the first flight ever arrives. And perhaps most critically of all, air traffic control must switch over without disrupting the flow of aircraft in the sky. Because even while the airport is moving, airplanes will still be flying toward Dubai from every corner of the world. Flights that departed hours earlier from London, Sydney, Singapore, and New York. They cannot simply disappear, they must land somewhere. Which means aviation authorities must coordinate a precise moment when the new airport officially becomes Dubai's primary hub. A moment when aircraft approaching the city will begin descending toward a completely different set of runways. And that moment must happen seamlessly. No confusion, no delays, no mistakes. Because when hundreds of aircraft are moving through the same airspace, even a small error can have enormous consequences. So before a single passenger ever sets foot inside the new Al-Maktoum International Airport, Dubai must effectively build a fully functional replica of its current aviation system. Runways, terminals, cargo centers, maintenance hangars, crew bases, catering kitchens capable of preparing hundreds of thousands of airline meals every day. All of it must be ready. All of it must be tested, capable of immediately handling one of the busiest aviation operations on the planet. Only then can the real challenge begin, because once everything is prepared, Dubai will begin executing one of the most ambitious logistical operations in aviation history. A carefully orchestrated 72-hour transition where the entire airport ecosystem shifts from one location to another. And when that process starts, every hour will matter. By the time the relocation actually begins, months of preparation will already be underway behind the scenes. Airlines, air traffic controllers, ground crews, and logistics companies will all be preparing for a single moment when Dubai's aviation system changes completely. Flight schedules will be rewritten, aircraft rotations redesigned, and pilots trained on new arrival procedures. Thousands of airport employees will gradually begin preparing to report to a completely different workplace. Unlike most infrastructure transitions that happen slowly over time, Dubai's aviation strategy depends on a hard switch. One airport stops operating and the other immediately takes over. The transition will begin with what planners call a final operating window. In the days leading up to the move, flight activity at Dubai International Airport will gradually decrease. The airport won't shut down instantly, but its schedule will be carefully reduced to give operators room to prepare the transition. Some aircraft will be repositioned, equipment will start moving toward the new airport, and certain services will begin shutting down. The goal is to reduce congestion so that the final shutdown can happen without disrupting global aviation schedules. Eventually, the final night arrives. During the quietest early morning hours, the last departures will leave Dubai International Airport. Aircraft bound for destinations across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas will taxi away from their gates and lift off into the sky. But unlike a normal day of operations, those aircraft won't return to the same airport. Once those final departures are gone, the shutdown process begins. Runways close, ground services power down, and the airport begins transitioning into relocation mode. At that moment, the 72-hour clock officially starts. The first phase of the move focuses on ground operations. Airports rely on thousands of specialized machines to service aircraft. Baggage loaders, pushback tractors, catering trucks, air conditioning units, and maintenance vehicles are constantly moving around the airport ramps. When the relocation begins, all of this equipment must be transported to the new Al-Maktoum International Airport, nearly 30 miles away. Convoys of service vehicles and transport trucks will travel along designated routes linking the two airports. By the end of the first day, the new airport's ramps must already be equipped to handle hundreds of aircraft. At the same time, a massive relocation of people will also be underway. Dubai International Airport directly employs tens of thousands of workers, including pilots, flight attendants, engineers, security staff, and baggage handlers. All of them must begin reporting to new facilities. Crew briefing rooms must open, immigration counters must activate, and airline operations centers must begin running from the new airport. In just a short time, the workforce that once powered one airport will be operating entirely from another. Behind the scenes, the airport's digital infrastructure must also switch over. Modern airports rely on complex software systems that coordinate nearly every part of the operation. These systems assign aircraft gates, track baggage, update passenger information, and manage flight schedules. During the relocation, those networks must be redirected to the new airport simultaneously. Airline reservation systems must update destinations, baggage systems must recognize new routing paths, and flight information screens around the world must begin pointing travelers toward the new hub. Perhaps the most delicate part of the transition happens in the sky. Dubai sits along one of the busiest global air routes, with aircraft arriving from Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia every day. Air traffic controllers rely on carefully designed arrival routes that guide planes safely toward the airport. When the move occurs, those routes must shift to guide aircraft toward Al-Maktoum International instead. Pilots must follow updated procedures, and international aviation authorities must update flight planning systems worldwide. All of this must happen seamlessly because aircraft will still be flying toward Dubai during the transition. Once equipment, staff, and digital systems are in place, the final moment arrives. Somewhere in the air, an aircraft approaching Dubai will receive instructions directing it toward the new airport. Instead of descending toward Dubai International Airport, the pilots will align with the runways at Al-Maktoum International. When that aircraft touches down, it becomes the first commercial arrival at the new hub. From that moment on, every flight will operate from the new airport. The transformation will dramatically expand Dubai's aviation capacity. Al-Maktoum International Airport is designed with 5 parallel runways and hundreds of gates, allowing it to eventually handle up to 260 million passengers annually, nearly 3 times the capacity of the current airport. Meanwhile, the land once occupied by Dubai International Airport will eventually be redeveloped into new urban districts, parks, and business centers in the heart of the city. Relocating the busiest international airport on Earth is a logistical challenge unlike anything aviation has attempted before. Thousands of flights will be redirected, tens of thousands of workers relocated, and an entire global transportation hub shifted across the desert in just 72 hours. If it succeeds, it will become one of the most complex aviation transitions ever executed, and another example of how Dubai continues to push the limits of what massive infrastructure projects can achieve.